Morning. Am I audible?
Morning. Good morning.
Okay, so my other students are still joining in. So I'm thinking because of the load shedding, can you kindly wait for like 10 minutes for others to join as well?
No, no problem.
Okay, all right. Morning, guys. Morning. Are you able to hear me?
Morning, ma'am. Yes, you are audible.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining in today. We have a guest, it's Lesego. He's a candidate attorney at Motsoeneng Bill Attorneys. So I invited him today to come and give a brief or an advice in terms of his candidacy. Welcome, Lesego.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Hi, everyone. I'm Lesego. As explained by Elizabeth, I am a candidate attorney at Motsoeneng Bill Attorneys, and it is truly a pleasure to be invited to Elizabeth's esteemed mentoring program.
Welcome. So guys, today I invited Lesego because we've been in commune since the beginning of the year, and I wanted him to come and share his experience in terms of how he acquired articles and his experience thus far. So, Lesego, can you kindly give us a background of where you studied your LLB and your experience in terms of your studies, how you um, anything that or any challenges that you battled with through your studies until you acquired your LLB?
Okay. If I may ask, is everyone here a prospective candidate attorney, or do you also have
Okay.
candidate attorneys?
No, these are students, so they are third year and fourth year students. No one here is a candidate attorney, so they are still
Oh, no.
students. Yes, they are prospective candidate attorneys, not yet candidate attorneys.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. It's fine. What I would like to stress is the fact that a candidate attorney is also a learner. So we are all equals here.
Yes.
Therefore, in this meeting, I do plan to engage with you and have a discussion amongst us, not a lecture.
Yes. Yes.
Some people might be viewing this in their bed and sleeping. Let's just make sure we don't have victims. Can we turn on cameras one by one, please? Yeah.
Okay. So are you guys able to turn on your cameras?
No, just 2 seconds. We'll see.
That's one. Maybe they are shy.
They're shy.
Is there,
They can't be shy.
can we
Don't be
submit an
shy.
interdict to that? Sir?
Yeah. Don't be
I
shy.
know they are
Okay,
shy. I
let's
know.
let's introduce please introduce yourselves then. Let's start with Tembisile, so that this doesn't become a lecture, Can we discuss and make it nice? Tembi,
Yes.
Tembisile, Tembisile. Marashem. Eson, you can go first.
All right. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Well, my name is Esona Makhwenkhwe. I am a final year LLB student at UNISA. I am also a disabled student at that, in that I have a visual impairment. I am based in East London, in the Eastern Cape. and
Yeah.
I'm also part of this highly informative and we are privileged to have this program. I am also a member of this program.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Osama. Before you continue, guys, do I have permission to record this meeting? Can I, Elizabeth?
If you're able to record on your side, you can record as well, but the meeting is
Oh,
recorded.
okay. It doesn't
Yes,
want to on my side.
yes.
Okay. No, this
Oh,
side.
okay, yes.
Busisiwe?
Good morning, everyone.
Good
My name
morning.
is Busisiwe Nhlapho.
Mhm.
I'm a third year LLB student at UNISA. I reside in Gauteng, Pretoria. I'm originally from the Vaal. I think to briefly give a reason why I like being, or why I'm studying law, is because I am really into family law. Although I think I may be finding interests in other, parts of the law, but my number one is family law. Thank you.
Thank you, Busisiwe. Thank you. Tembisile, uskabashahle. Tembisile abatle. Okay. Let's continue then. Where Elizabeth was doing her articles, I also did some VAC work there. We met afterwards. I don't think we physically met, but yeah, I know her like that. I respect her so much. So when she started this mentorship program from scratch, and you can see the constant reasoning and objectives behind this. So when I was invited, I also wanted to put some effort, to show my respect. It's not a small thing to be invited out of so many candidate attorneys in South Africa, to be the one to advise prospective candidate attorneys. But essentially, I'm here to give a brief background about me and how I think, what I think rather, made me special as a candidate attorney, and to be given that opportunity. Because to be honest, the life of a lawyer is not the easiest. It's not for the faint-hearted either. You can see on Facebook posts and LinkedIn, it's actually true. Uh, and the lawyer can be one thing, and the candidate attorney can be another. That may sound wrong, but the candidate attorney is like where all the hard work is, right? What I'm going to do now, can I share my screen also?
Yes, you're welcome to share your screen.
Okay. Yeah. This is the part where I said I wanted to show some effort for Elizabeth, Can I share? Let's do this. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
You can?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Let's do this. Because the theme today was personal branding, right? I saw in the email.
Yes.
Yeah. So you see, I put some effort. You see, Elizabeth?
I see. I'm impressed.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Okay, again, I'm just gonna introduce myself. I think on this photo, this would be nice. I'm Lesego Makhwenkhwe. I also did my LLB at UNISA. I graduated last year. I started 2018. Yeah, I started 2018. My profile is on our company's website. You can go visit. I think my article is the latest to be published. I also wrote some articles for the firm. I'm not so sure. Topics I would like to cover today, because I wanted it to be a bit structured. Let's go to this side. It's for the search for articles and the learning. So I'm actually on the second part, right? I'm on the learning part. But achieve Gibo Elizabeth, not now. Now I'm still on the learning part. We are still there. Yeah. So it's only two parts that I'm gonna represent on, Before I continue, I think it's only Busisi that has shared why she wants to be a lawyer rather. Can Esona also indulge us why before we continue? And Tembisile.
All right,
Tembisile,
sir.
that's the whole thing. Yeah.
Okay. To be honest, initially, law was not my first choice. I have to be honest. Initially,
Yeah.
I wanted to venture into social working, as I had initially thought that my calling was in that direction.
Yeah.
But then, when upon arrival at university, and I came to apply for that particular course, I saw that there was limited space. In fact, there was none at all. So I thought to myself, what's the next best thing that I could study, which will be in line with my initial vision? And I thought, perhaps let me try law. And then, as I studied law and as I researched the legal career as a whole, I saw that I started developing a passion for it, because I could see that even through with law, I can still make the same difference I wanted to make with social working as well. So I ended up studying law, and I fell in love with it as time went by, and I also am keen in family law. But as I have developed as an LLB student, I saw that I also have potential in terms of criminal law. So I am hoping to pursue a career in criminal and family law, with a dash of civil law as well.
Oh, that's nice, man. Thank you so much. Tembisile, are you here?
Okay, so Tembisile, she's actually having network issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, so City of Swadle has been having electricity issues now for weeks. So I think maybe that is the issue. Yes. So,
Yeah.
but I asked her to type in her answer. So as soon as the answer has arrived, and then I'll read it to you.
Okay.
And yes, you can excuse her for now.
Okay. Yeah, let me excuse the shame. I'll also give why I decided to do law. And I think my reasons came before I even graduated at high school. You know? The reason was I saw a lot of injustices and unfairness from primary school, with my friends where I live, you sort of see the imbalance of poor versus rich, right? Lucky and unlucky, favoritism, and someone just being a person that no one likes or someone that everyone likes. And like there's always that difference in the world. And I'm not trying to be a victim here, but I can say I'm a lucky person, right? But definitely not rich, right? And as you go on and as you grow up, you sort of accept that doesn't life is like this. There's nothing you can do about it. There's the poor, there's the rich, whatever. You go through school, you're in primary school, and then you go to high school, and then my biggest frustration started to come when I saw I see the same lucky and rich people, especially rich, in fact, abuse what God gives them against the poor and the unlucky. If I could even start on examples, I would not finish because there's a lot of abuse from corporate entities even our president, such things, politics, everything is just forced upon us. So people use their power, they use their money, they use all of these things to rather, so that imbalance caused the biggest frustration in me. I think I was still in high school, the rights of many people and even companies, rather, just because you have a company does not mean that it won't be abused. So rights of people, rights of companies are being infringed on a daily basis, right? Every person and company that comes through a law firm's office, every person that has a lawyer believes that their rights have been infringed. And essentially you can't accept being bullied all the time. The law is the country's weapon against bullies, and a bully can be anyone. The law is one weapon we can all use in the world, and I'm just part of the vision of preventing greediness and bullies in our lives. With the strongest weapon, where you as a person are not just a person. Your voice will always count through the courts, and parliament emails are always available online, even if they won't hear you, but the courts will always hear you. In front of the court, we are all equal in the eyes of the law. So I sort of use the law as a weapon to block such bullies from succeeding in life. I think my reason would be sufficient that way. You understand what I'm saying, right? Do you have a new person that joined? I hear the sound. Lebogang, how are you, brother? Hello?
Lebogang, can you hear us? Are you able to say something? Oh, she's also having network issues.
Network issues. Okay. Okay. No, it's fine.
Yes.
But I'm hoping that my explanation was fine of why. Right? So as mentioned, I'm only gonna share my experience on only the two items, right? Elizabeth tla re thusa ka the last one. Ke re ke yena boss. Yeah.
Okay, so Michelle sent her message. So in
Mhm.
terms of why she studied law, so for
Yeah.
her it was a personal matter because her uncle was acquitted for something that he didn't do. So
Mhm.
she wanted to pursue law in that regard. However, because of she realized that you know what, I've got too much emotions. I cannot um do criminal law, because
Yeah.
in terms of law, you need to control your emotions.
Mhm.
So you can't be biased. Hence,
Yeah.
she opted to pursue interest in conveyancing, and she also was able to get an opportunity at Robert Attorneys in terms of learning about conveyancing.
Mhm.
Yes,
I didn't get the first part. Uruleki mango.
it's Michelle.
Anguzo.
Michelle.
Michelle. Oh,
Yes,
Temsile. Oh,
Michelle.
okay.
Michelle. Yes, yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Temsile. I'm glad that you are here with us. Yeah. Man. But you can see that our reasons are also interrelated of why we are doing law.
True.
It is a very ubiquitous weapon. By saying ubiquitous, I mean like around the world. It is one of the strongest weapon to get what is due to you as a human being. Right? And as a lawyer, you're just that instrument to make sure that everyone else gets those gets what is due to them. You know? When I say here the search, I was a little vague on it, but what I meant was a search for articles. And I don't want to talk with the assumption that everyone here wants to do articles. who wants to be an advocate or wants pupillage?
Okay, so for my students, majority or all of them, I could say they want to be attorneys.
Or they all want to be attorneys?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. No problem. So when it comes to articles, right? I think I'm not sure, but I think I once heard that there are over 15,000 law firms in the whole country, by the way, South Africa. And 15,000 is not a lot, okay, to be honest, right? And out of that 15,000, because how many people are in South Africa? Let's say 60 million, right? I think that was statistics for 2021. So there's 60 million people, there are 15,000 law firms, right? And out of those 15,000, 5,000 of them are new, right? So let's assume that maybe 10,000 of them accommodate candidate attorneys. And out of the 10, they accept a maximum of 3 candidate attorneys. So it's like 30,000 candidate attorneys in the country, right? 30,000 is also not a very large number, you know, because most firms don't even take 3 candidate attorneys. They'll take 1 or 2, you know. And so let's also assume that there are 20,000 candidate attorneys in the country, right? In South Africa. That's not a large number. And every one of that candidate attorney closes your space for the next 2 years because they're going to do articles for the next 2 years, right? Do you understand how, as one person, it's going to be very difficult to secure the spot? Right? And they know that there's so many people. UNISA alone, because I saw that most of us here are from UNISA. Most of us here, as we're from UNISA, we will also know that UNISA registers more than the 20,000 students per semester, not per year, per semester, right? So you must understand that you're competing with people that have waited for over 2 years to be hired. And each candidate attorney that is hired takes up your space for the next 2 years. So when it comes to personal branding, you can't be the same as everyone else. Do you understand the importance of standing out? As you are one person out of 2 million that has LLBs waiting for that spot of being a candidate attorney. So you can't well, that is the mindset that I had, by the way. That I can't honestly just send CVs, you know, to law firms and say, "Hi guys, I want articles." Give them my academic record and just hope to God that I'm gonna get those articles, you know. Even the door-to-door people, like I honestly don't recommend it. It puts you at a very blatant subordinate position, right? I think I'm gonna explain later why. Like it works for so many people, right? But my success in getting inside the profession so soon after graduating, but so many people wait, right? But I believe my success in getting inside the profession so soon after graduating was I was intentional from a trick that I want to be a lawyer, and that's when I did my VAC work, you know, at the firm where Elizabeth was also doing articles. There was also another firm. It's local here. I know that some people don't have the luxury of going to volunteer and stuff in local firms, you know, so you probably have to take taxis and all of those things, you know, to get to a law firm. But that's one thing you can do, especially as a student, and especially at UNISA, by the way, because I'm also from UNISA. If you do have time, you just go and gain some experience, right? No matter how small that law firm is, no matter how tacky or shady they are, one thing you must know is that that firm is open because the director or the principal at that firm or the lawyers at that firm are admitted. And being admitted is no child's play. So definitely, you will learn something, right? You don't have to go there and say, I want to get paid. Even if you are, like, they'll be nice. But they also know of the statistics that I just told you now, that there's so many people that want this position. They have no obligation to pay you. because some people will just come for free. That's why they use candidate attorneys, by the way. They know that the competition is so high. All right, so we must just keep the number. Out of 2 million people that possess an LLB, you are 1 in 2 million. Just keep that number in your head and understand why you have to be special, out of those people. And I was lucky to meet a firm that had the same values as me, right? Is that you have to be flexible and creative and think outside the box if you really want your articles, I know people, or when you go to LinkedIn or you go to Facebook, they generally advise against cover letters. But trust me, when a firm opens an email, because when you apply, you usually apply via an email. When a firm opens an email with an application, right, the first thing they read is what you wrote on the cover email or the cover, in the cover email. Hi, Spanbani. Please find attached, whatever. But if you have a cover email of something that they can read like quickly, don't write a novel. They're not going to. But something very short and sweet and very formal, and thought of and concise. It creates an impression. And if there's a cover letter gives you swing, right? There's only one way you can do your CV, because CVs are quite standardized. You must have your name, you must have your experience, you must have your qualifications. That's a CV, right? There's no other thing you can put there. They're quite standardized. So it's cover letters, you have more swing. It gives you more leeway, You can write whatever you want. Whatever you researched about the firm, whatever you want to say to them, you can put it in the cover letter. They can read that thing. Yes, they might not even have the time. That's why people encourage that it only becomes one page, But my tip number one is to just don't throw away the idea of a cover letter, right? And curate one for each firm. Read their website, apply your mind, and meet them halfway in for hiring you. Because you can generally seek articles while you're at university. You can do this now, basically. I'm just saying, don't cast out the idea of a cover letter. If you saw a post saying a candidate attorney position closes next week, don't use the same CV or edit some things and look at their website and then apply to the CV. Trust me, people aren't stupid, especially HR. They've been doing this for years. They have experience. They're not stupid. So it'll be better that you just write the deadline down and spend the next week just focusing on that one firm that you want to enter in. Be intentional about it. Don't play lotto with firms. Don't say, I'm going to put my CV here, put my CV here, put my CV here. Let's see who's going to call. No one is going to call because they can see, you're not intentional with your search. You must be very intentional and show them that you are. That's why I also encourage cover letters for a firm. Don't use one for all of them. Even CVs, don't use one for all of them. Just take the time, to apply for the specific firm. I believe I used to get like 4 interviews in 1 month, and I'm not lying. Some were small firms, not very big. I can tell you now. But of this one that I'm in right now, I was very intentional with it. And that is my tip for you. You look for a firm, you become very intentional in getting inside that firm. You focus on it. Don't play lotto with firms. They have serious HR people. Just because you think they're lawyers, they don't have HR. They have HR people that look at these things. And they're very experienced. They know when you're bullshitting, Another tip, when people always say that a name carries so much weight, right? And you'll see a post saying candidate attorney, deadline closes next week, whatever. Let's say the firm is Namesi Attorneys, right? And there's a phone number there, there's a website, there's everything. And the name carries so much weight, right? Just pick up the phone, R5 airtime, and call them, right? The one person that you're gonna get a hold of is the secretary there. the first question that you ask them, you don't ask about the principal and all of those things. What you ask for is the person that is handling the applications, which can be HR and it can be the principal. But from what I know, it's hardly the principal. Someone else does these things. So you just ask, who monitors that page? You know, and then they're gonna give you a name. I doubt that they'll say no one does. You know, even if they give you like in passing, but they don't give you that person's position. But now you know the name of that person, right? And when you send that email, you're like, dear Butlali, please find that effort to find out the name of the person that will be looking at the articles. Trust me, 5,000 of those articles keep on saying, dear sir or madam, dear sir or madam, dear sir or madam. If you come and say, dear Butlali, you are now special. You've stood out with just finding out the name of the person that will be viewing that application, of that HR person. It is important. Some things are really, really taken for granted, but they are important, you know? So just find out who deals with their recruitment process, and they'll give you the name. I doubt they won't give you the name. If you can even take it a step further and ask for the person's work email, because I hardly doubt that those are on the website. And then you send it to the email that you were given on the post, maybe on Facebook, and to the HR person's work email. Don't ask for the personal email, then I'm not going to give you. I'll just say you're rude. So ask for a work email, and then you send it to both of those emails. You copy both of those emails. Do you understand that in the one that they gave to the public, there'll be 50,000 applications for candidate legal practitioners, and then because you took the effort of finding the work email, they'll just be sitting doing other stuff, and then they'll see your application as one. You took the effort. And the officer will be asking who gave the email, who, you know, such things. And now you're a topic in that office. Do you understand how special you are as a person once you believe that? Right? What else can I say? Along with your research, for the firm, right? When you write your cover letters and you research the name of the HR person, whatever. I would also advise, because you're a law student, you're also at university, there are modules. I graduated last year, guys. I know there are modules that require you to write legal opinions. Kind of, you know? And you know how a legal opinion is structured, right? And you see a very nice firm, Harrison Pen Molibat, right? H&M. You know their clients, you know, I think they also represent the president. I'm not sure, but they also represent Coca-Cola, whatever. You look at the website, you look at the clients, whatever, and let's say they deal with municipal law, for example. There was a cholera outbreak not so long ago. Tembisile would know at Pretoria, right? And then what you do is that you write an opinion based on that, and on your application you just attach that opinion and say, "Hi, I've also drafted a legal opinion that might be of interest to your offices," because it's what they deal with, by the way. You know, it's what interests them, and you took the effort. You're very different to other applications. There's so much work, but it goes to the point of saying, be intentional about getting inside. Don't play law with firms. You know, so with being very intentional, now you're starting to engage with them. You know, and say, "Hi, I've also drafted a legal opinion that might be of interest. I'm open for debate and discussion, preferably to a different opinion in terms of law." And you'll find that it is an HR person that will be viewing that application. And then they say, this cocky person, they take it to a lawyer, they read your opinion. By saying a lawyer, like that HR person might take it to an associate or senior associate and say, "We have this applicant that drafted this legal opinion. Let's check if they did a good job or a bad job. Maybe it might not help them." Right? Another way, what happens is that if your opinion is horrible, they'll want to challenge you, right? And they'll call you in. That's how you get an interview. And they'll challenge you, right? And if your opinion is great, they'll see you as talent, you know, and they'll definitely want to have you. Either way, the point is just get attention. Find a way. Think of other creative ways to get attention. I already mentioned the name of the HR person. You're drafting a little opinion for them. Just find a way to get attention. Be special. Don't be part of all the other applicants. Because what is unseen counts for nothing. Don't be part of them. Be special. That's part of personal branding. Standing out. That was my topic. I don't know why I did. Yeah, standing out. I personally find question and answer interviews boring. I, as Lesego, personally find them boring and difficult. Definitely difficult. Because they don't even have direction. They'll ask you about that case. They'll ask you about this. They'll ask you about this. They'll ask you about this. This way, you know that you're not even gonna get the job because number one, you're taking time out of their billable time. They're coming here. They're gonna be listening to you. They have to think of questions. They're doing all of the effort. You're getting some of the answers wrong. How on earth are you special in that regard? And that's why I keep on saying, just try to be special. It's part of your personal branding. Just do whatever to not be part of all the other applicants. And I know you're scared to do things like presentations and stuff, but you do know you can never be shortlisted alone. In fact, they'll shortlist 15 other people with you. Sometimes they shortlist so many people and they don't take any of them because none of them stood out, and you need to be the one they hire. I stress this with my chest, and I'll deal with it later. You're a candidate attorney, a prospective candidate attorney, at least, and you absolutely know nothing. That's one thing that I've learned later, is that you know nothing. Whatever you learned at university, trust me, that 3% of that thing is in practice, and they know it. So when you draft these things, they're gonna try to challenge you, but one thing you'd have received is the attention. Don't think giving all the right answers all the time in interviews will get you the job. It doesn't happen that way. You can give all the right answers, but you also have to impress them, and you can impress them by being different. Try to think of ways of being different. Always think, why me out of the other 15 people that are shortlisted? Another advice would be to say, hi, let's say you're invited by Bowman. Let's say, hi, Bowman. You were shortlisted, by the way. You took all the effort first, and now they called you. You have an interview, and they give you this interview letter, and you say, "Thank you for inviting me for the interview." So to be different, like you must always try to be different and being special. I keep emphasizing that because it's so important. You say, "Please consider my special request." That I present to the panel why I'm fit for the role of a candidate attorney. When you're looking for articles, you get an interview, you don't just say, "Okay, yeah, I'll come," because trust me, all of those interviews are unstructured. It's very big companies that prepare questions or whatever, but even a lawyer has to prepare some questions. Those people are not gods. They have to think of questions with you, so you're just wasting their time in that office. But what you can do is to just say, please allow me to present to you why I'm the perfect candidate for the role. And may I do that by preparing a legal topic you may want to engage me on? Now you're kind of structuring the interview and you're limiting them in what they can ask you, right? And maybe also say, I noticed that your firm does a lot of litigation. Our parliament will be voting on the public protector's impeachment on Monday. That's a fact, by the way. I think on Monday. They'll be voting on Mr. Mkhwenkwe's impeachment. But there were so many irregularities on the process. There was a report, and I'm only making this as an example because I was dealing with it. There were irregularities in the report. Would you be interested to debate with me those irregularities? These people are from a law firm. They love debates. They love talking to you. And one thing that I appreciate is that you're trying to structure the interview. It's not going to be all over, And I really doubt that they'll say no to that request. Just request to narrow down your interview process, because as much as you want to be hired, they want to hire a thinker. You know, they're also not going to be playing low to its candidates. That's why I say you'll find 15 people being interviewed, being shortlisted, and none of them get the job because they just didn't stand out. But you're trying your best to stand out, right? You study very hard on one of the predictable questions and processes of what you're gonna present to them. You know, I really think this is a great idea by them. You know, the takeaway is just don't throw your CV at law firms and think uzowini lotto. You know, I think all of us here have tried to play the lotto and no one has won. That's why we're in this meeting. We're not at the penthouse. You know, lotto just doesn't get you anything. You know, try to be intentional about getting inside that firm. So with my journey, it was exactly that. You know, they invited me for an interview, but I sort of structured it, and I sent an email back. I would even show you actually. I sent an email back and said, "Can I present?" Like I went on the website. They do say that they're working on. I'm trying to remember from the day that I viewed the website when I got the interview. It was public and constitutional law. It was. I'm not so sure about procurement, but there was municipal. Oh, but there was definitely intellectual property. And then I did slides on intellectual property. I sent an email to the HR person. I didn't take the step of finding out the name of the person. My email was also dear, sir or madam, which is very bland. I got lucky by getting the interview. But what I did was also to structure my interview, and I sent an email back and said, "Hi guys, may I present to you why I'm the right candidate for the role, because this firm, even from the outside, you can tell, or rather, it gives the impression that it's not a small law firm, you know. So for you to stand out, just try to be special." So I said, "Can I present to you? Like, don't make the interview not have direction." I didn't say that in the email, by the way. I just said, "Can I present to you why I'm the right fit for the role?" You know, and they responded very nice and they said, "Sure, we can do that. Would it be a PowerPoint presentation, or would you just like to speak?" You know, I said, "Yeah, if you do have the equipment for PowerPoint presentation, we can do that. But if you don't, it's fine. But please just give me the chance to be the one that does the presenting, and you can ask questions later. They'll only ask you questions on what you said, and it would be nice if you just narrow it down to a legal topic. You know, that helps. It helps them. It saves their time. You know, they don't have to think so hard with questions to ask you of what is the latest case that you're interested in. In their heads, they don't even have an interesting case. You can say whatever. You know, they're not gods. We go to interviews thinking these people know everything and they're gonna catch us out. It just didn't go that way. You know, that was my short journey with the firm. And then when I presented, I think I was the only one that presented. That's how I got the job. I believe that's how I got the job. I don't know if other people were questioning and answer interviews, but I believe that's how. You know, I tried to be special, but after getting the interview, before that, those tips I'm just giving you. But after getting the interview email, that's when I really just tried my best to get in. You know? So with mindset, I've been saying it since I've started speaking, is that personal branding is how you want to be seen by the people that are hiring you, and you have to like, don't desire to be common and unnoticed. You know, don't be part of the group. You know, aspire to be seen as smart and creative and valuable, and as a talented lawyer. You know, as gold. You know, aspire to be recognized. That's why I keep saying, like, prioritize getting attention. Don't be part of the 50,000 people that are applying for the same position as you, and they're going to get that position and they're going to close that space for the next 2 years. You're not going to get a job at that same firm for the next 2 years if someone else is hired. That's the mindset that you always have to keep having in your brain. You know, you're a CA and you're there to learn and to move forward in life. You know, the first door is being seen as smart and valuable, talented. You know, sugar, spice, and everything nice. Just to be special in that regard. I've been talking for so long, guys. Do you have any questions? I was preventing this becoming a lecture. I don't like lecturing. I think there's also someone else that joined. Okay, no one else joined. Do you have questions, guys?
Okay, so can you also emphasize on LinkedIn, reaching out to whether the prospective employer or either someone who's also working at that particular firm, and then their engagement on LinkedIn? Because I've realized that there are a lot of companies or firms which are on LinkedIn, and you can engage with them in LinkedIn through their posts or whatever they post, and then you respond to that. If they request um, research on something, you are able to do that. Also, it's a form of standing out as a candidate, because they can see your interest in the company or in the firm. And if they are actually dealing with that specific field of law, then it's a bonus for them. So it's actually a way of also standing out, reaching out on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a platform. I'm not sure if people do realize that, you know what, on LinkedIn you can actually get a job without even going through interviews and whatnot. But your,
Yes.
your engagement, being consistent, always reaching out, you can stand out.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. Esona, what's your input, man? Yeah.
All
Do you
right.
still have yeah. Oh, okay. You
Yes.
can talk.
I have one question, sir,
Okay.
regarding your approach in structuring your interview.
Yeah.
I would like some advice on how to tone your approach in structuring your interview, going with the interview. In that, how would you tone your approach in forecasting the fact that some interviewers might perceive your approach as one of being pushy or something like that. So how would you tone your approach in perhaps let's say, for an example, you gave an example for perhaps piloting a what did you say again? You said piloting a legal opinion.
Yeah.
So, and engaging the interviewers in a particular topic,
Yeah.
seeing that we have many different characteristics, personalities, and stuff. So perhaps some interviewers might see your approach as one of being pushy. How would you advise one to tone their approach in applying that particular approach then?
Thank you, Esona, for that question. I think in my mind, it is very simple how to do that. Like now that you've asked me, I'm thinking about it now. You say dear, whoever the name. I really don't think when you're asking for an HR person's name, they'll refuse giving it to you. You know, they say dear. After that, what you are doing is not saying, I want my interview to be this way. You know, that's not gonna work for you. You emphasize that it is a request. I request, you know, that maybe try this approach rather. They give them an option to accept or decline, you know, because what I do know for a fact is that even when they call you for these things, they are busy. And when they're busy like this, firms look for a candidate attorney because they're busy, right? And they're looking for someone that is valuable and someone that's not going to waste their time. And as a candidate attorney, you don't know anything. So they have to teach you and train you and all of this stuff. All of that is going to take up some of their time, right? So when you're requesting and saying, may I please have my interview be like this, it's going to save us a lot of time. You don't say it's going to save us a lot of time, but structure it in a way where you prioritize their time. Because time is very important in a law firm. Time is essential in a law firm. That's how a law firm makes money. I think I've seen 3 law firms, but one is where I'm working now, like where we bill for per hour, per minute, and whatever. So time is very important. That's why when you're going to that interview, you're taking some time away out of their billable time. You understand that they also have targets, but they're busy interviewing you here, and now they have to have so much effort into to creating questions for you. You probably find that they're coming to the interview not even prepared at all, So when you send that email, you put it in the way of it is a request. Some others have their structure and they don't want to break it and they'll say no. You're gonna come to this interview and do it like this, which if a firm is that dictative to you, I'm hesitant to say, but it doesn't give a great look. But what I am saying is that it's a request. They can either accept it or reject it. You give them that option. Don't become pushy. Like, this is a very great question, actually. Don't become pushy and say, I want my interview to become like this. They'll say we don't want to deal with this person at all because you're coming with new things. You're not even requesting. You're not trying to save their time. What if your presentation might take longer, actually? Just value their time. Time is very important in a law firm. I hope I answered you well.
Very much so. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Michelle, do you have network issues? Do you have questions before I continue?
Oh no, I'm still here.
You're still here? Okay. Do you have any questions?
I think my question was more aligned to what Asana asked. How do you not become pushy, or how do you not come across as being forceful? And you answered it. Thank you.
Yeah. I think it's a very relevant question, actually. Like, make sure that it is a request. It is a very humble request, by the way. But what I'm gonna keep on saying in this session is that you try to be special, because people are gonna get interviews. There's gonna be 15 of you, and they're gonna say come for interviews, and trust me, it happens more often than not that they'll interview all 15 and no one out of that 15 will get a job because no one was special. Just try to be special, and say it as a request. It is a humble request just to save time. You can actually put that in and say, in my presentation, I'm going to put in all of the information about me, my qualifications, whatever. We might want to discuss this and this, and they'll just, you are directing them, you are leading them. You're also coming across as a leader, but you are humble in your approach. And you get there, you prepared for that one thing. Now everything is structured. And I'm saying this because I did it. It was so nice. Like, when I think of it, yeah, it was so nice. Like, you become nervous, but once you start speaking, it's another thing. You just flow. It's like, even for this, I prepared this thing, the slides, but I didn't have content in my mind. Like, I'm surprised that I've been speaking for the past hour. I'm honestly surprised. I won't lie. But as you see the words here, no, like, I'm surprised. It's because
No,
it's
you're
something that
actually
I was
doing
thinking
well.
of. Yeah.
You are doing well.
Yeah. Thank you. Like, I'm surprised that I've been speaking for so long, and especially on one topic, by the way. So once you start speaking, it becomes different. Like even the idea of presenting, it sounds so scary and all of that, but once you stand in front of like words just come out, man. Just try to be different. It's part of your personal brand. Try to be special, try to save their time, but also be humble. Don't force them. Don't be pushy. It's a very relevant question that you asked, and thank you for it. you know okay, this is one aspect. We can talk about the other now. On the third part, Elizabeth, guys, Lena, I haven't achieved anything. I'm still a candidate. um the learning is now when you got the job. Right? You are now a candidate attorney and got the offer. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is where it gets very tricky. Yeah? Once you've got the job and you're actually there, yeah. The hard work starts here. You're in now. And trust me, just because you're in also doesn't mean you can't get out. What they say about principals cutting people's contracts, it happens. It happens. We've seen it. The language that people use is saying, hi guys, congratulations to myself. I've secured articles. There's no such thing as securing articles. You don't secure articles. The principal can simply just cut your contract. You can look at the LPC. They say the principal will just give them notice, and they can cut your contracts. This way you see people studying over at other firms. It's not because the other firm is bad or anything. You might find that they're actually fired. There's no such thing as securing articles. Yes, it might be difficult to fire a candidate attorney, but it happens. Like I've only come to realize later that you are not really safe. When you go there, you must go there with your head high and look at yourself as a lawyer, because you will be treated as one. You won't be spoon-fed. You are an attorney. You're a candidate attorney. That means you're an attorney, right? So there's no such thing as securing articles. Once you're in, that's where your mindset also shifts now. Um, you must treat yourself as the future lawyer you want to be, and the lawyers in the firm and outside, when you send emails, they reciprocate. And my dream personally, not even my dream, like my goal, my aim is to become a partner in a firm, whether in litigation or labor. I'm starting to really love labor. I thought it was just people being fired and substantive and procedural fairness. Yeah, it's much more than that. Like I see why there's so many law firms dealing with labor. Labor is so nice, you know. But there's also litigation. Litigation is also nice. So, and either of the two, I think I'll decide that before I end my articles, whether I want to focus more on labor or litigation. I have some very nice mentors that are also on our website. Ishad Savant, very nice guy. You know. For litigation, almost everyone that does litigation, but I do have my favorites also. There's Michael, my boss is a very nice person. Musama Tebula. But no, man, let's come back to this. Uh, so when you treat yourself as how you want to be treated, people reciprocate. Yeah. So I started to call myself a partner at the firm. I didn't call myself as a candidate. And if you ask anyone, they'll tell you that I'm one cocky person and whatever. I always call myself a labor and litigation partner. So now when they greet, actually they say hi partner, and it was sarcasm at first. At first it was sarcasm, and they got used to it. And believe me, and this is a cute secret that I'm sharing with you. The treatment is nicer. than when you are regarded as a candidate attorney. Like, they know that you're a candidate attorney in their minds, but when you start making them get used to seeing you like in a higher position, the treatment might be better, you know. And work is essential. Working is essential. Like, when you enter in a law firm, working is essential, but don't be seen as the weakest link. So your confidence has to be very good. It has to be very on par, you know. Be noticed all the time. There's nothing such as bad attention. Just draw your eyes to yourself. It will make you win. Just don't become unnoticed. It really works, you know. So how I started, I'm a very confident person, I can tell you now, you know. So when I entered, I used to think that I know everything. No one can tell me anything, and especially because I did some work, and I'm only calling it work to make it sound sexy. I was actually volunteering. So when I came in, I joined March. I was overconfident because I did the work. I was so enthusiastic to show that I know the work, you know, to prove a point. The main intention was to impress them that I know the work, that I'm coming from these law firms. You know, for the longest time, trust me, they were grossly unhappy with my conduct. You know, I used to act like I'm the director and they're juniors. Basically, that was my relationship between me and my seniors, right? Because I have this experience in my mind, so I came there on a very high note, you know. And then mistakes happen, you know. Mistakes are very inevitable as a candidate attorney. You'll make a lot of them. You'll make a lot of mistakes, you know. Um, no one told me this, but I'm sure that at some point they wanted me the hell out of that firm. You know, they're so annoyed with my conduct. My aim of impressing them at all costs turned to me looking like a person unwilling to learn anything. You know, I came across as unteachable. So much I could say, even unlikable, man. Like, I could see it. Like, my first 3 months were the hardest, man. Like, you know. And then as my mistakes kept being corrected, they spoke to me. My documents were always read. You know, that confidence lessens a bit, like over time. You know, track changes in a Word document is a candidate attorney's worst nightmare. I can tell you that. You know, you'll feel so dumb when they edit your document. But over time, I could tell like they couldn't bear with me. And then what I did to turn the situation around, as I was saying, that just because you're in doesn't mean you can't get out. And I saw that, you know what, they're not very happy. And then I went to them one by one, you know, and said to them, you know, since I've been here, this has been happening. I see that you're unhappy. Actually, it's making me unhappy now. Um, what is it that I do? Like, please guide me to 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 be a good candidate attorney at the firm. Because when I came in, I was a horrible one. Like, I'm telling you now, I'm not lying. Yeah. What happened was that the answer was one, and on all of the senior people that I spoke to, and it was confidence is a good thing. Yeah, confidence is good, and you clearly are. But arrogance is an ugly word. We wouldn't say you are arrogant because it's not like you don't see people. You do see people, but overconfidence rather is another thing. You know, to be honest, like they told me this, you're unteachable. You know, because you think you know everything, and that was actually my turning point. Personally, that was my turning point. That how do I become teachable now? You know, during March, April, May. That was a horrible time. And then June, I started to change, learning a mindset and reminding myself that I am a candidate attorney, you know, and I'm there to learn. I'm not there to make money. I'm not there to even if you think you know something, sometimes even pretend like you don't. Just give seniors the space that they can teach you, you know. Um, and suddenly my mistakes starting. I started doing less mistakes, you know, than I did before. I started taking my time with my work, so that when I'm given the work, I try my best. I don't give it like back same time. Like before you give me a document at 10, my aim was to get back to you at the 11. And you'd find that it's actually 3 hours time of work. So I didn't apply my mind. All I was trying to do was to impress, and that didn't turn out well for months. Not even 1 month, for months. I just use the precedent quickly, incorporate details, and send it back to them, and look efficient. Whereas I wasn't, and I wasn't learning anything. You um, which also goes to the second point of you must understand why you're hired. You're not hired to be a problem. And when you give people documents that weren't well thought, you become a problem because they have to spend so much time redoing the document that you did, which was supposed to save them time. And I mentioned it earlier that time is very important in a law firm. So you're just going to annoy people. You're going to annoy them if you keep wasting their time, right? So you must just make sure that when you're given something, you take your time with it and you apply your mind there. And trust me, you're gonna be wrong still, but try your best because mistakes are inevitable as a candidate attorney. You're gonna make so many mistakes. I said it before that whatever you're learning at university, 3% of it applies in practice. It's so different. You're gonna make so many mistakes. You know? And this thing of incorporating details is the same thing that I was saying about the CV, that you see a job post and you change whatever is on the website, you put it there. People are not stupid, they can see those things. Applying your mind is very important with whatever you do, with whatever work you do, whatever CV you send out, applying your mind and taking some time to understand what you're doing and understanding the end goal is important. You're not hired to be a problem. You're a lawyer, you're hired to fix problems, no matter the cost. You're a lawyer, As you're doing LLB, and understand that essentially you're going to be a lawyer, and a lawyer is not hired to give problems. A lawyer is hired to fix them, no matter the cost. So the first thing that should come out of a CA's mouth should be, please guide me on how to do it, how to do this, Not please show me. That's another thing, because when they're redoing a document now, they're showing you what to do, and they are spending a whole lot of time editing a document which you didn't apply your mind to. You're just creating problems for them, which is essentially what they don't want when they conduct interviews. They make sure that you don't provide problems. That's why I was saying, just try to be special. But the one mistake that I did was trying to impress too much to the point where I didn't apply my mind. I just wanted to look efficient, and it didn't work out for me. So over time, I think now I'm very good, because you give me something. It's not that I'm gonna take 5 days with it, but try to apply your mind to what you're doing. It's gonna work out so well in the end. Like, the mistakes become less. Things will just be nicer, you know. Uh, as a candidate attorney, you must always learn to explore new ways on how to do things. A CA is one, there to learn, and two, you're there to perform miracles. As a lawyer, you're there to perform miracles. I think my boss also told me that once. Like, don't give me problems. No one cares what happens in the middle. You must only give two answers. It's either you did it or you didn't do it. You failed or you succeeded. No one cares what you did to get the result. You're a lawyer, you're supposed to make things work. Right? So try your best not to say you can't find something, especially like when you're doing research. Try your best. If it's not JuiceStat Evolve, if it's not LexisNexis, if it's not Safely. By the way, I think JuiceStat is expensive. Some law firms don't even use JuiceStat Evolve. But just try your best to get whatever they want, to do whatever they want. Being a good candidate attorney is the willingness to learn, which I wasn't that for the first 3 months, but now everything is like great. I started very badly, but over time, I can tell you, like, now everything is so nice. I think it's also important to tell you that when you get inside a law firm, like in your first job, don't talk to clients and counsel. You only talk to the people that are in the office, and unless you get their say so, unless they tell you that you can send an email to a client, or you can send an email to an advocate. Just know that as a candidate attorney, and I don't mean this to insult us, because I'm also a candidate attorney, but you just know your place when you enter there. You know, it's also important to emphasize that they don't care about the middle story. Get things done, right? But at the same time, understand that whatever it takes you to get things done is a whole different story. You know, your relationships with your colleagues is that of a professional nature. You know, you don't become friends with your seniors. It's a terrible idea. I can tell you that now. You know, just get them to teach you, become teachable, and go home. Always be resilient in your learning, because trust me, it won't even take 6 months. I'm still making mistakes even today. You know, you won't be perfect as a candidate, but try your best every day. It's gonna work out so well for you. You know, but the best advice I received from my principal was, I think he sent me to Kempton Park, and then they just give me some nonsense. Like, I was asking for recordings, and they said no, you can't get them for free. But then there's a rule 66(9) on magistrates court rules that gives the court the power to do that. And then I explained to them, and they just told me nonsense, you know. And I said, okay, like, can I set them? They just gave me a whole lot of rubbish. And then I went there to him to explain, and he just couldn't hear what I'm saying, as much as I didn't hear what I'm saying. And I thought we'd have a laugh about it, but he didn't laugh. And he was like, Lesego, never accept excuses you can't explain, right? Whenever you get an excuse, know that because you're a lawyer, people are going to try to challenge you. You know, they're gonna try to challenge that you know your rules. They're gonna try to challenge that you can think. They're gonna try to challenge you as a person. So you must also be assertive. Don't be soft. You must have a thick skin. You'll hear that all the time. Don't accept excuses from people, especially on the outside, that you can't explain to the next person. You know, when when the boss asks you to do something, and asks you to do something, to for a sheriff, a clerk, just know that people are full of shit out there. You know, you need to be assertive and inquisitive, and ask questions your boss didn't instruct you to ask. You know, just go the extra mile and ask things they didn't ask you to. They didn't ask you to ask, because when you go back, they're gonna start asking the questions to you, assuming that you asked those questions. You know, and then you can't be saying, no, I didn't think of that. I didn't ask this question. I didn't ask this question. Does that mean you have to go back and ask all of those questions that he's now asking you? You know, you must also be a thinker. You must solve problems. You're a lawyer at the end of the day. So don't accept excuses you can't explain. Also be assertive when you talk to people, because they are gonna challenge you. Trust me. The moment you say you're a lawyer or you're an attorney, they're gonna try to challenge you. You know? Um, I think resilience, learning. I think I'm done. You know, my closing remark would be that a candidate attorney is an attorney. At the end of the day, you are there to learn as a candidate attorney, but you're also a lawyer. You know, anyone that possesses an LLB degree is a lawyer. You know, you don't have to start having articles to start becoming a lawyer. You know, um, just always keep that in mind, that people are always going to try to challenge you, but you must be very strategic in your approach. Uh, yeah, I think with I keep on saying with Achieve, Elizabeth will help us. But I think for this session, I've said my piece. Um, thank you very much. Do you have any questions? Actually, I can even stop sharing my screen now. Do you have any questions? I'm done, guys.
So now, do you have any questions?
All right, ma'am. I'd like to know, sir, how would you sum up your they usually say that the first 3 months in your candidate attorney career are the most difficult ones. What would you put your finger on to say perhaps these are the most difficult parts in that particular period?
Yeah, true.
In specific.
Specific, yeah. Thank you for that question. The first 3 months is the hardest. I think when I started on the topic, that was where I emphasized a lot on. But with me, it has to do with my confidence in the aim to impress, which didn't work out so well. I think the one thing that you must have in mind is that you are there to learn and be teachable, which I wasn't in the first 3 months. But people are teachable, you know. You said what can I pinpoint, and just to sum up my experience in the first 3 months. With me, I really think my problems are unique. I really don't think people go there with the aim of impressing and become unteachable. I think people actually do the opposite. They go there, they don't know anything, and they sit there and I've seen it. Other candidate attorneys that joined after me. Okay, there's one that joined after me. That when you join, what happens is your principals or your seniors know that you don't know anything. You're a candidate attorney. You're there for experience, but at the same time, also go the extra mile and show them that you're trying. You know, um, show them that you're trying to learn, become uh, uh teachable. That's like the one thing that makes a good and a bad candidate attorney. Become teachable. Go the extra mile. Just try to if you're given research to do, make sure that you get things. Like the last thing that you can say is that I didn't find this case or whatever. Just try your best to find everything. Use all platforms. Make sure that you are seen as a person that is teachable. You know, I think that's how I can sum it up. That's one thing that I have learned, and it is one thing that I'm carrying till this day, is that as a candidate attorney, all of your seniors in the law firm know that you're a candidate attorney. So the one thing that you can give them as a favor, not as a favor actually, like something that is very important, is that you become teachable. You know, yeah, become teachable as a CA. I hope I answered your question.
All right then. Thank you, sir. Just a follow-up question with regards to that as well. I also believe that many candidate attorneys battle with their first court appearances. What are the most common mistakes or encounters that you have found challenging with regards to your personal you personally when you are attending court for the first time?
Okay. For that, no? I think being teachable is one. Yes, it's very important. For that, Eswana, I'm gonna tell you now. With me personally, as Lesego, right? I joined the firm in March, but I sort of delayed registering for articles. So I only registered July, and I think that's July, August. I think August was when I got my right of appearance. So from August till now, I haven't appeared in court. So I really can't answer that. I have my right of appearance. I haven't done my first appearance as yet.
No problem at all, sir. Thank you.
Okay, Eswana, I can answer you in that regard. regarding our first court appearance as a candidate attorney. So the thing is, not every firm will guide you on what to expect when you get to court. First thing first, right? And then when you go there, ensure that you get there early. By 8 o'clock, you should be at court in order to navigate. Remember, when you get there, it's a new environment. You don't know where you are, you don't know where you are going. So the earlier you get there, the better. For you to find the court that you are supposed to go to, whether it's criminal or civil or family court, but get there early and also engage with whether the clerk of the court or the registrar. Ensure you engage with them and then explain to them that, hi, my name is Esona. I'm from this attorneys. I'm a candidate attorney, and this is my first court appearance. They will take you to the magistrate who will be sitting for your matter. And that's where you are going to introduce yourself to the magistrate. So you also introduce yourself, hi, or good day, sir, or madam, or whatever. I'm Esona. I'm a candidate attorney from this attorneys, and today it's my first appearance. So even if you don't say, it's fine, but you can say to the other magistrates so that they can understand in case you make errors, they are able to correct you, right? So it's important to introduce yourself to the magistrate that you are a candidate attorney from this firm and show them your right of appearance. And if they are nice enough, they can even chat with you for like a few seconds, and you can be on your way out to the court that will be hearing your matter. And then when you enter there, when they call your matter, then you stand up, you introduce yourself again. Good morning, Your Worship. Mr. Esona from this attorneys. I confirm my appearance on behalf of whether the applicant or the respondent or the plaintiff or the defendant. And then also, it is very, very important as a candidate attorney to observe. Observe, it's very important. When you go to court and observe other legal practitioners, that's how you learn. That's how you learn. And that's how also you get to understand what is expected from you when you stand up. So I would advise you guys to do court observation. Go to court and observe. In terms of when you attend civil matters, you know this is how you navigate yourself as an attorney. And then when you attend criminal or whatever family, this is how you handle yourself. Because that's how you learn. That's how you learn. Ensure that you do court observation. And even senior legal practitioners, not everybody is very good when it comes to court etiquette. So you need to understand them very well. But to sum it all up, introduce yourself and learn. That's all I can say. Esona, did I answer you correctly, or you want further elaboration?
Yes, ma'am, you partly answered me. I'm grateful for that. The one aspect that you forgot to mention was what are the most common mistakes that one makes, one candidate attorney makes in their first few court appearances. What are the most common?
Oh, okay. Thank you for that. So normally mistakes that candidate attorneys make when they do their court appearances is one, being rude to the clerk of the court, because when you get there, when you're thinking, I'm an attorney, I can do whatever, or you can speak to the clerk of the court however you want or whatever. But that is actually wrong, because those are your colleagues. You need to learn to engage with them in a professional manner, because in certain instances, they will assist you in a matter where probably you forgot to file something. They are able to advise you, and they can even prep you if they can see that you are messing up in certain points during your appearance. They are able to coach you. So when you get to court as a candidate attorney, make sure that you go there with the intention of learning. Don't go there with the intention of whether you know, just because you studied criminal procedure and civil procedure, then you assume that you know why you are there. Like Lesego mentioned that theory it's 0% when you are when you are practicing, so you don't even apply it that much. So when you are practicing, it's a whole different story. So hence, when you go to court, ensure that you are also teachable, and then you engage professionally with the court staff, right? And the second mistake which I saw most candidates make is responding unprofessionally to the magistrate. So when they advise you, let's say you are appearing for a minister of police matter, and probably you served your summons, and the sheriff, they didn't serve personally to the defendant. However, they only affixed the summons on at the door. So there can be a possibility that the defendant didn't actually receive the letter, or probably the defendant has moved from that address. So if the magistrate is advising you that your letter can't proceed because of we need personal service to the defendant, and then now you want to argue that the defendant, the sheriff went there 3 times, they can't find the defendant. And when the magistrate asks you, is there any other alternative um, method that you used when the sheriff was unable to locate the defendant, and you are unable to answer, or you answer in a very disrespectful manner, then it becomes an issue for you as a candidate. So also you need to take note when you are being advised in court, you follow through with the magistrate. Obviously, there are certain instances where the magistrate might have it wrong. Then also you need to know how to communicate effectively and professionally in alerting the magistrate that, Your Worship, this is how things transpired. We did 1, 2, 3, hence we are at this moment and at this point. The magistrate will understand you, but being professional and communicating effectively is a bonus as a candidate attorney. The third mistake that candidates make is I'm still trying to think. Oh, being unprepared, not knowing the merits of the matter. Let's say your principal is like, Eswanda, go to East London Magistrate Court for a civil matter. Maybe it's a contract. There's an issue between the parties, and probably one party owes the other certain money, but you don't know the prospect of the matter, and you don't know the merits of the matter. So it will be advisable to ask the principal the merits of the matter, so that when you go to court, even if you've got like 30 minutes or an hour, you can do your research on if you are maybe using Uber, or you're using what do you call it, public transport. You are not driving, because obviously you can't research whilst you are driving. But if you are using Uber, then you are able to search through and do your research in that aspect, because you know that when you get to court, you are prepared. So it's very important to prepare prior to court appearances. Don't go there in an empty mind. You don't assist. Esona, are you good?
Yes, ma'am, I'm more than satisfied. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. I see this is where she met. I think also she's having internet issues. So is there any other question?
Not on my side. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Lesego, do you have anything more to add?
Nothing to add on my side, guys. Just thank you for the invite. I appreciate it very, very much.
Okay, no, I see everybody satisfied. And also thank you for gracing us today to share on your experience and personal branding as a candidate attorney, because it's very important to be intentional and to know what you want. So thank you in that regard. So which aspect did you say I'm gonna touch on? I forgot.
Or to achieve.
Oh, achievements.
Yeah.
Okay.
Being admitted.
Okay, let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can. On my side.
Yes or not? Are you able
Yes,
to
ma'am, I
see?
can.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I believe Lesego has touched on personal branding as a candidate attorney, in terms of why it's important to cultivate your brand as a candidate attorney and being intentional as a candidate attorney and ensuring that you know and understand your role as a candidate attorney and also being different, um, and the willingness to learn and ensure that you know what you want and you are willing to move a mountain for it. So I'm gonna let this one out. He also touched on impression. So whatever you do, how you speak, how you carry yourself, how you engage with others, your interaction throughout the social media pages, whether Facebook, Twitter, whatever, it's very important. So that's where you build your brand. So mostly employers, before they can even hire you, others they go through your social media pages to check how you conduct yourself outside of the work environment. So do you align with their brand? So how do you want to be perceived? How do you want other people to see you? You want to be seen as this person who's always out drinking, or do you want to be seen as the person who goes out of their way to make an impact? So it's very important that you understand that whatever you do, leave an impression. Whatever you say, how you carry yourself, how you engage with other people, whether they are your colleagues, whether they are other students, whether they are people that you don't know, but you might meet them in the future and they are able to elevate you from one position to the next. So it's very important that you understand that you as an individual, you are a brand and you need to ensure that you carry yourself as such a brand, and you need to make sure that you protect yourself in every way possible. Make sure that you protect yourself, protect that brand. Being consistent in building your brand. Make sure that you are consistent. build that brand. Study hard, ensure you get those great marks or great scores. Ensure that you do vacation work. Ensure that you do volunteering. You go to other firms or companies and you volunteer or you get vacation work and then you learn. When you are there, leave a mark. Don't just go in and come out. Make sure that they remember you. Even if they see you after 5 years, they are able to say, oh, yes, we know you. Da, 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 da. So it's actually very, very, very important to leave your mark. So, in terms of self-branding, you have to be simple, clear, and consistent. Be authentic about yourself. Don't compare yourself with other candidates. Be you, do you, and be about it, right? Um, and ensure that you build a strong and solid brand. And other companies or firms, before they hire candidates, they do background checks. They can own probably the firms that you were doing your vacation work at or you were volunteering to check on your behavior, to check how are you as an individual. Are you teachable? Do you take instructions well? Um, do you take initiative when you are given work or you just do the bare minimum and then submit your work? Or do you go above and beyond to show that you did think this through? You thought about it, researched about it, and then you submitted your work. So being intentional is very clear and also being consistent. Don't lose yourself on the way. Be consistent. Always stay in your path and build your brand. Um, One of the strongest things with building your brand is knowing your strength. Are you a hard worker? Are you a good listener? Are you a risk taker? Do you solve problems effectively and efficiently? Do you understand that you are different from other people? And do you know how to carry yourself in being different? Do you know how to um, distinguish yourself from other people in a professional manner? It's very, very important to understand your strengths, know what you are good at, and be truthful to yourself and be honest. That will also make you stand out as an individual. Being true, being truthful, being honest, understanding your strengths, to identify them, and to improve on them to make sure that you are consistent in those in your strength. No, I'm a hard worker, but that's it doesn't end on being a hard worker. You improve that you understand that working hard is one thing, but also being clear in your work, being consistent when you do your work, researching, because in our field we research all the time. You don't only research once and then you are done. No, you research all the time, because that's how you learn about new acts, new sections, new regulations, or yeah, or new bills which are laws that are about to be passed. Do you follow those things through? because that's how you differentiate yourself as a brand, as a candidate attorney or a prospective candidate attorney. So it's very important that you identify your strengths and you know them and you understand them and you build them so that you are known for them. Is there any question thus far? Or I can proceed?
No question on my side. Thank you.
You may proceed, ma'am.
Okay. So why is it important to ensure that you build yourself as or you groom yourself as a personal brand? Building yourself as a personal brand is ensuring that you stand out as an individual. Like Lesego said, that you need to stand out as a prospective candidate attorney. Ensure that you go above and beyond. Ensure that you know what I am interested and I am willing to do 1, 2, 3 in order to stand out. You need to show and express to your prospective employer how or which skills, experience, and values you bring to the firm or to the company that differentiates you from other candidates. What is it that you bring to the table? So also, I've been a candidate attorney years ago, and I acquired my articles also immediately after completing my degree. I didn't like struggle to secure articles. I got them immediately. Why? Because I took that step. I was different from other candidates. So you also have to make sure and ensure that you set yourself and stand out. Be the personal brand. Ensure that you stand out. Ensure that you show your prospective employer that these are my skills, these are my experiences, and these are the values that I bring to the firm. So another thing I want to touch on is few people that I think they are a personal brand and they are continuing to build their brand as an individual. Is Busi Tembekwayo. He's an entrepreneur. He's also a public speaker and a businessman. Da, 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 da. And he's everywhere. He's known locally and internationally. And he's normally advises and provide expertise in terms of leadership. That is his brand, his marketing. He's assisting other corporates or individuals in terms of how they should um, market their brand, how they should improve in terms of being a leader. So this is one of the people I took and as a form of personal brand. He is a brand. Uzi Tembekwayo is a brand. So how he carries himself, how he acts in public, his social interaction on the media. He is very sure and he's very intentional about himself. He knows that he is a brand and he carries himself as such, a brand. So as an individual, you need to know that you are a brand and you need to make sure that you know and you are intentional about yourself. And then you make sure that you carry yourself as such. It is very important, and I can't stop to emphasize on it. being intentional. Always think about it, that you are a brand. So, and it's very, 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 like it's very simple to lose yourself in the midst of everything. It's very important. So you need to understand that you are a brand. If someone wants to join in, yes, I can see people are having internet issues. Hey, guys, it's a problem, unfortunately. Okay, so as I was saying, that um, personal branding is about being improvement and how people perceive you in the outside world. So Avusi Tembekwayo, he's one of the few people who I know in South Africa who are a personal brand, and he ensures that he carries himself as such. Moving along, the second person is Justice Maya. So I met her through a program in 2020. So they run a mentorship program as well. South African chapter of the International Association of Women Judges. So this initiative is basically judges across South Africa. So like women judges. So judges who are women, who are female, they came together and um, created an initiative for final year students to guide them and provide them with um, guidance in terms of carrying themselves through their journey to being admitted. So she's also in the same path. However, their brand has um, grown exponentially. So she's also the first female to be appointed as the president of the Supreme Court of Appeal in South Africa. So she's actually um, creating a path for female legal practitioners in South Africa. She also was the first female to be appointed as the Chief Justice of South Africa before Justice Zondo was appointed by the president. So she was the first female to hold that office for approximately 3 or 4 months. If I'm not mistaken. So now she is the Deputy Chief Justice. So do you see how it is important to build your brand as an individual? When we see you, we need to see your work. We don't have to see you as just an individual, but we need to see you as that brand. So is there any question, guys?
Not on my side.
No, ma'am, thank you.
Allow me to share my screen again. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, ma'am, I can.
Okay. So one of the things I believe that they are actually very, very important is SWOT analysis. I'm not sure if you guys do understand that even as an individual, you can do a SWOT analysis. So it doesn't only work on corporates or companies, but you can also do a SWOT analysis as an individual. What are your strengths? What are you good at? What is it that you love to do? What are your interests? How do you want clients or your managers, your supervisors to see you and rate you high marks on specific tasks? What are your weaknesses? What is it that you are terrible at? What is it that you prefer or hate doing? What do other people criticize you for? Opportunities. What could be an opportunity for you? What unmet or unsatisfied needs could you capitalize on? Threat. What makes or what keeps you awake at night? Is it real or is it imagined? Is it a personal matter or is it a professional matter? Are you doing anything to tarnish how other people perceive you? So being intentional, understanding your strengths, knowing your weaknesses, what are the opportunities that are out there for you? What are the threats that are out there? Examples of strength is as a prospective candidate attorney, you do back work, you write legal articles, you attend or create initiatives where you tutor other students, can be paying or non-paying. You assist other students when they need guidance or assistance. Weaknesses. Are you scared to speak in public? Is your writing that bad? Because other people are good with speaking, but they can't write. So is writing a weakness for you, or is speaking a weakness for you? Opportunities. Do you send through applications to certain law firms or companies for membership, job opportunities, internships, vacation work, because those are your opportunities. You go out of your way to go and secure those positions. Threat. Lesego mentioned that there are more than 20,000 candidates at MISA, or students at MISA rather, who are also studying LLB. Those are your threats. Not in a bad sense, in a sense where if they apply now to secure articles, maybe they are in their fourth year and they apply now to secure articles for next year, for the next 24 months, which is 2024 and 2025, meaning we also get an opportunity in 2025 because they have secured their spot now. So do you understand that the threat is there are more students in the country who are studying law and they also want to be attorneys? So how do you alleviate yourself from that stress or from those threats? So it is very, very important to understand and do SWOT analysis for you as an individual. And like I said, ensure that you are honest, be truthful. Don't lie and say, I'm a good public speaker. But when when you are given a platform to say something, you freeze, or you, or you are unable to. So you need to know also how do you improve on your weaknesses, because there are other candidates who are unable to take instructions. If they say to you, "Can you kindly make these copies for me?" and you're like, but they are secretaries, I can't be doing that. That is not my job. No, you take instructions well from the superiors. I'm not talking about abuse, but I'm just saying, literally, as a candidate attorney, maybe your superior is very busy, they can't make their own copies. Are you able to assist in that regard? So it is very, very important that you understand yourself as a brand, understand and ensure that you know who you are and build yourself as a brand. So do you remember I sent you guys a message, I think 2 weeks ago, that you need to ask people that you know. Let me check that message. Oh yes. So if you had to describe me in what way, I'm sorry guys, I've got sinuses, so if I'm speaking very funny as this. If you had to describe me
No,
in one word, how would you describe me? So I said you need to ask 5 or 6 people, whether they are family, whether they are friends, colleagues, and we'll discuss it today. So I want you to tell me, did you do that task? And did you receive answers? And if you are comfortable, you can share those answers. Sisi, where you can start. Michelle, you can write on the chat since you are having technical issues.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna share the messages I got, or maybe I'll start with my thoughts of you, ma'am, because you did suggest that if we would like to, we can also have an
Yes.
input on this. So I think you are strong-willed. Maybe that's not the only term I could use, but I think that's one term I've come to see with you, because I mean, I can't really explain it, but okay, let me just say, I think you're strong-willed because for someone who decided, okay, I'm going to create a space to mentor students, the fact that you go over and above to reach out to other people to be guests on the session, that shows that apart from you being so busy with your work and your schedule, you are still putting more effort into other business. You are balancing out your life. Hence, I thought strong would be fitting. On
Thank you
my
so
end,
much.
okay. And when it comes to the responses that I got, well, I got kind. Well, I think a few, maybe two people I know said I was strict, which I don't understand why. Maybe it's just my face or how I look before I'm approached. But yeah, they said I was kind. Two said I was strict. And then one said I was into books. I don't know. Maybe it's the assumption that I'm studying law and that law has a lot of content, a lot of reading. But yeah, I got I got that as well. And then the last one blue ticked me. I tried following up, but yeah, I'm assuming the person was occupied, so I just decided not to pester anymore. So yes.
Okay, thank you so much, Lucy. Esona?
All right, ma'am. On my side, when it comes to my observation of you, firstly, the one word that I thought was suitable for you, ma'am, was special, because I think that's what you are. I think Boosie has just summed up all of the aspects that make you special. Um, this mentorship program is just a tip of the iceberg of what you really are. I remember reading that article which you shared on WhatsApp, and it further emphasized that you are indeed special, ma'am. So that's the word I could that best describes you, ma'am.
Thank you
Uh,
so much, Esona.
yes, ma'am. And then on my side, well, many struggle to come up with one word, just one word, but I'll just mention a few common words which were put to me. Um, some said I was stubborn, which I found it to be a little ironic, but seeing that I'm doing law. But also, I got the sense that many said that I was also humble and selfless and kind. Yes, those were the most common words, ma'am, uttered to me.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I also did ask certain people as well, and the words that they would describe me as is phenomenal, thoughtful, and considerate. So those are the words. The reason why I asked you guys to do this um, task is for you to understand how people view you or how people see you as an individual. So there are things which people would say about you which you believe they are not true. Those are coffee stains. Those are regarded as coffee stains. Like you said, as well that someone said you are stubborn. That is a coffee stain. That is where you need to ensure that you improve in that aspect that no, I'm not stubborn. However, um, maybe I voice myself in a certain way because there are instances where when people say something and then you share your view on that specific task, they take it that you are stubborn, you don't want to listen. But uh, that's where you need to improve on. Lesego, you said something that you went to your seniors and then um, to check because you were struggling. And then they said certain words or certain um, things about you. Those were your coffee stains, right? Those
Yes.
gave you, yes, those gave you a clear view on where to improve.
Mm.
Yes. So as an individual and as a brand, how people perceive you as a brand is very important. And also, how do you want people to view you? It's very important. And you have to drive yourself, you have to drive your career in the right direction. You are the main driver of your career. You have to carry yourself to where or to that destination you are looking forward to. But in terms of you to get to where you want to go, you have to have assistance in certain aspects. So having mentors, having a good employer or a boss who will ensure that they share their experiences with you and they teach you certain things which they've also learned from others as well, so that you can improve on yourself, right? And also having those coffee stains, is it a bad thing? No, actually good to have coffee stains because that's where you know if you have to improve or that's that's the things that you know you are going to improve on. So it is very important that once in a while you ask such questions. It can be to your fellow colleagues, it can be to your friends or your family because people will view you differently. So you need to ensure that you build yourself up and be different, however, being intentional as well. So I thank you so much for um, doing this task. I know it was a very small task, but um, it gave you an input or show of how people perceive you as an individual, as a brand, and also you need to check as a brand, do you want to be seen as kind or assertive? As a brand, you want to be seen as consistent or just a hard worker? You want to be perceived as uh, being honest and trustworthy or, or not. So it's very important that you need to check what things or what other people perceive you. Is it good things? Is it something that you want to be seen as? So I'm going to start with you, Busisiwe. In that task, the things that your family or friends said about you, you take it as a good thing, or is there a certain way you want to be perceived at, and you are still trying to navigate that, or whatever that people said about you is it still how you want to be perceived?
Thank you for the platform, ma'am. I think this is how I've always come across. I think some of the terms that were used are slightly true, or maybe it's just a facade that I've put up. However, I'm willing to, you know, restructure how I'm perceived instead of being, you know, seen as a strict person. I'd want people to understand that no, I'm not strict, but right is right, wrong is wrong. That's just, there's no in between. I'm willing to, you know, have people view me differently. Perhaps I'm still finding my feet on that. I think since I got feedback, I've been trying to analyze how can I change this to better fit the person I'm trying to present to people the person I want to be perceived as, and the person I actually am. So no, I don't think I'd want people to have that image of me through and through, because I don't think it would be entirely a great brand for my career in future. So yes.
Okay, thank you, Lucy. Esona?
Could you kindly repeat the question, please, ma'am? I got disconnected for a second.
Okay, so my question was, with the question that you ask people to describe you in one word, those words that were said to you, is it how you want to be perceived as a brand?
All right, ma'am. Thank you for that. Well, I think, ma'am, with regards to the various words that were thrown around, I think that some of them I would wish to maintain, but some of them I am still trying to figure out in which sense were they referred to. For instance, being stubborn. The word stubborn may mean one thing to myself and another totally different thing to another. So with that particular word, I am going to work on it and try to not. I'm gonna work on it not for the benefit of others, but for the benefit of myself, because I believe how people see me and what I am are in some instances two different things. But then one may view you in a certain way and have a definition of that particular way in another sense, whereas you see yourself differently. And with that, I think many will also have opinions of you, different opinions at that, which are not coming from a place of where you are. So I think the word stubborn may be defined in another way by those people, whereas I do not see that in myself. But I believe that as human beings, with each day is an opportunity to improve from yesterday. So I will definitely work on that. And then when it comes to kind, I think I would want to maintain that, as well as selfless. Yes, that's about it for me, ma'am.
Thank you, Esona. Ms. Nico, can you also kindly share to us as to whether colleagues or friends, how do they perceive you?
It was what I shared about my first 3 months, where it was a matter of being unteachable. But for now, I think I'm on a transition period. I haven't asked them the question that you gave them to ask, but I am assuming that the one thing they would say is confident, because that's one thing that hasn't been brushed off. But I am interested in asking and intentionally in coming back to you with that. I don't know what they would say, but in my mind, that's what I think they would say.
Okay, thank you. And I'll be expecting your answer. Okay, so moving on. The question that I just asked now, it falls through personal audit. Companies, they audit financial statements or financial accounting stuff, right? And also they audit their work annually. So in certain terms, they do audits in annual basis, others quarterly, and so on. So you also, as a brand, you need to audit yourself. So there are certain questions which you can ask yourself, and like I said, be honest and be truthful, right? So you need to ask yourself, am I reliable? Can your colleagues and your employer rely on you? Are you a team player? Are you able to work with other colleagues or students? Do you participate or you let other people do the work and then you just get credit? Do I over promise and under deliver? Because other people, they can promise you the world and give you a township. So are you those people, or do you under promise and over deliver? Do you show respect to other people, whether they are your junior or senior? How often do you reach out to others? Are you trustworthy? Are you manipulative and sincere with others? Or rather sincere with others? How do you look, or when you are looking in the mirror, what is it that you say to yourself? Do you seem happy? Hi, Lesego, you can answer.
I was saying I didn't hear that. What did you say before that?
Oh, okay. So, when you are looking in the mirror, right? So, what are the things that you say to yourself?
Oh,
Yes. So it doesn't literally have to be a mirror per se, but how you talk to yourself about yourself. Yes.
okay,
So,
I understand.
yes. Yes. Um, do you enjoy social activities? Do you take time to develop your personal interest or professional interest? Do you listen to others? So in terms of listening, like they say that listening is a skill. So you need to check whether do you listen to respond or do you listen and comprehend what the other party is saying to you. Because I believe there are a lot of people who listen to respond. So if you say something, they don't even comprehend what you are saying, or they don't even understand what you are saying, but they just respond. So it's very, very important that you audit yourself in that aspect. Are you judgmental? Are you self-centered? What image do you project on others? And also, what image do others take of you? So I believe these are great questions of auditing yourself in terms of improving yourself as a personal brand. So the key takeaways I want you guys to take off in this whole aspect is whatever you do, you leave an impression. So you need to know from today, whatever you do, you leave an impression. How you speak, how you carry yourself, the work that you produce leaves an impression. So I want you to know, whatever that you do, you leave an impression. So there are good things and bad things which can either improve or sink your brand. So in terms of improving your brand, I'm just gonna touch down on three of them. Defining your goals and putting them into action. You want to be an attorney. How do you get to being an attorney? Obviously, studying your LLB, ensuring that you get great marks, doing backwork, volunteering prior to securing your article. When you have secured your article, you need to improve yourself as well. So, what actions are you putting in to improve yourself as being the great candidate attorney prior to being an admitted attorney? The second one is getting comfortable in your own skin. You need to be comfortable about who you are and understanding who you are and ensuring that you know who you are. So you need to be comfortable about you. So one aspect that I would say is that I've been told many times that I'm soft spoken. Okay, I am soft spoken. That's who I am. It's natural. It's not something that you can change because there are people who are loud, right? But in being soft spoken, I am assertive in what I say. I make sure if I say something, you need to understand what I'm saying. I am very intentional in what I'm saying. So now I've got to a point where I am comfortable with being soft. It's my brand and I am improving as such. So you need to be comfortable about who you are. Very important. So lastly, devise a plan and get on with it. This I would advise you to draft. You can just jot down on a paper. So others they do it as what is it? New Year's resolutions. Um, others view it as something else. So this is not the New Year's resolution. This is a plan that you put in place that you want to follow through in order to achieve your goals. So I will share on how I want you to project it. and I will check in with you in 3 or 6 months to ensure that you have actually done it. Right? So moving along, how do you sync your brand? Thinking before you think, being unprofessional, losing focus, taking your brand for granted. This can sink your brand. So they can tarnish your name, and this can cause coffee stains on your brand. So you need to think before you speak. You need to ensure that you possess a professional image, so that even if you are not there, you can say positive things about you. You need to ensure that you are focused in your road to success. So if you lose focus, it's not a bad thing to lose focus, but don't dread along in that aspect. You need to come back to the route that you are heading on. Never take your brand for granted. In essence, where people can say mean things about you, however, you can improve on those things if they are actually constructive criticism. However, people can say mean things because they want to diminish you. Don't look at it in a way that you take it personal and then you crumble along the way. So never lose focus and ensure that you don't take yourself for granted. So you need to chase that admission. So is there any question?
Not on my side.
Yes or no? This is you.
Not on my side as well, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Lucy, do you have any questions?
So, I think there's only the three of us now.
Oh, okay. I think maybe she's got technical. Uh, so, so this is the end of my presentation. And also good luck in developing your brand as individuals and ensuring that you nurture that brand and be consistent. Yes, and um, doing things that needs to be done in order to achieve your greatest destinations. Double.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Also, a word of thanks to Mr. Makhwenkhwe as well for this very insightful session. We are pretty much grateful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sona.
Yes, thank you, Lesego, for taking time also out of your busy schedule. I know we have taken up 50% of your weekend. So we thank you for coming through and sharing your experience as well
Yeah.
with us, yes, and motivating our students in order to know and understand what to expect in terms of being a candidate attorney. And you know, Miss, I'm gonna reach out very soon.
Yeah, I know.
Yes. Thank you guys for coming through today, and I believe it was a great experience for all of us.
Yes, it was.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. And good luck to Mr. Makhwenkhwe for your first court appearance.
Thank you.
Yes.
I look forward to it, man.
Thank you guys for coming through. So if there are no further questions, and we can just end our session here.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Elizabeth.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. Thanks.
You
You too. Bye.
too.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.